Well, hello. Good morning. How lovely it is to see you all here this morning. Did something happen yesterday? Unfortunately, I had to be elsewhere. Bar mitzvah. Launched another young man into adulthood. Today, I am a man. Tomorrow, I'm a nerdy 8th grader again. But he did a wonderful job. You'll be happy to know he did a wonderful, wonderful job. Yeah, I can tell y'all are coming off an amazing high from yesterday. Everything I've heard and all the photos and video I've seen, it looks like y'all had an absolutely wonderful time and did some really beautiful, beautiful stuff. That's kind of what we're talking about all this morning, so I won't talk any more about it. I'm Chris Tackett. I'm your music director, piano player, and polar bear wrangler, and all kinds of different stuff around here. I stand up here every morning and I tell you, first of all, you know what to do with these. Take a quick second. A friend of mine is fond of saying, make sure they're set to church mode. And it's also today, you will notice some people wandering around with cameras, shooting both stills and videos. The film, the video, and the photography, the photos, that's the word, that I was trying to come up with. The photos, everything that's being taken is being taken for our own internal use. Some things will wind up on the website. We may have some videos that wind up on YouTube. They will not be distributed at this point beyond our own website and YouTube channel. As you all know, though, once things make it up onto the web, we cannot control where they go. So if any of you are particularly sensitive or prefer not to have your face involved in these things, you can go and talk to Jerry there in the back. That handsome fellow wearing the yellow shirt, like that narrows it down a lot in here today. But you can go and talk to Jerry. We are also working on evolving a covenant between us and all of us and how our media, video, photography, audio will be used going on into the future. We don't have a whole lot to report on that front yet, but I want you to be aware that we are aware of some of the issues and we are working to try and make them as smooth and easy for all of us. But like I said, if you have any objections or questions, go talk to Jerry and we can work that out. Once again, good morning, welcome. Have I missed anything this morning? I think I haven't. I'm going to play a little bit for you, if that's okay. And once again, it's so beautiful to see you all here on a Sunday morning.
The preludes are always good, Chris, but that one was spectacular. Thank you. So, buenos dias, bom dia, bonjour, xin ciao, buongiorno, good morning, and welcome everyone. Everyone outside this place and here. Spring is in full swing in Arizona. Lots of sunshine, lots of wildflowers, and lots of trees that are making me sneeze. Some of you may be sharing that experience with me. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning as we end our March themes for this round of feminism, breaking through, thriving through, and rising through. We're fortunate to be present in this unceded land of the Thana, Otham, and Yaqui people, and appreciate that we can share this space. My name is Maria Menconi, and I am one of the pastoral associates helping with today's service. Today's service is led by our settled minister, Reverend Matthew Funk Crary, and supported by MVUU staff, including Chris, our music guru, Stacy, our religious education coordinator, Kailea, who works in our office. Our professional staff, as you know, provides the support to do every single big and little thing that we do. And yesterday was a big thing, so that was a lot of people. In addition, and I love that you're still in your shirts. I think they're great. I think they're great. If that was Jerry's design, great design, Jerry. Thank you for that. In addition, of course, thank you to all the other volunteers, Lee and our AV crew this morning, Joel, our song leader, volunteers for greeting and hospitality, the volunteers in RE who are taking care of the children, everyone who contributes their work and care to our congregation makes it all possible, and today's service particularly. We'd also like to warmly welcome Madeline, who's joining us at the podium today. Yay! She's like, no. No. Our services are not just attended by those of you here in person, of course, but also virtually. Some will be watching this in real time, and others will be watching it down the road when they have time. So if you can, and we can get the camera moving, please turn around and wave to all those people who are joining us out there. For our chalice lighting this morning, I'll be reading We Gather in a Sacred Space by Emily Richards, Director of Religious Education. We gather this morning in a sacred space, in kindling a fire that burns here in our chalice and in our hearts. We gather to engage in a different kind of worship, one that doesn't always include sermons or hymns, but is holy nonetheless. We gather to honor our covenant and engage in congregational life, doing the necessary work to ensure that this community thrives. We gather together as a people of faith guided by love, a love that burns as bright as the flame in our chalice. We light this chalice as we have done so many times before, for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. May it be so.
I hope it is a good morning for you. I hope already something good has happened to you, or something good is going to happen, and maybe it'll happen in the next few minutes. Each month, we gather and offer thanks to an organization for their ongoing work in engaging, loving, transforming our community and our world as only they can. For the month of March, we have been taking a collection in our woven basket just outside those doors for Emerge, Center Against Domestic Violence. For 50 years now, Emerge has been changing lives of individuals and changing our broader community. Certainly, absolutely, they are against domestic violence, the impact that it has on children and adults, individuals and families, on communities. And yet they are effective and inspiring because their horizon lies well beyond. And that's what they've worked for 50 years. They are more than just against something. They're for a lot. Emerge is for love, the power that transforms the community so survivors can live free of violence. Emerge is for safety, creating spaces to heal and rebuild lives. Emerge is for joy, which renews energy for the work and calls the community forward. Emerge is for innovation, building a peaceful, nonviolent culture centered on equity. Emerge is for liberation, for its life-giving, capacity-building, and caring as an organization in our community. And it is for responsibility and repair, because they practice actively that harm can be repaired and trauma can be healed. They know that where love leads, healing can emerge. And we're thankful. We're just grateful for that work over 50 years. And one way that we demonstrate it is taking this long month offering. Everything that you give in the woven basket will be sent directly to Emerge. Now, next to the basket outside is our wooden bowl, and that's for our gratitude offering for the people and the programs and the place here at Mountain Vista, for our ongoing mission to engage, love, and transform our lives and our community as only we can. All that you give, everything that you can offer, will be gratefully accepted. Thank you. We always begin in gratitude. It's something that my elders have taught me. Be thankful, be thankful, be thankful. And so today I want to be extraordinarily and grateful for yesterday. Yesterday was a historic day. It was the largest protest in the nearly 250-year history of our country, but what I'm referring to is how it was historic for our congregation. As a part of the 8 miles of No King stretching along Oracle, we co-hosted at the intersection of Oracle and Orange Grove. And in our 37-year history, because that's what we're coming to next month, we have never before been asked to co-lead such a big and peaceful and joyful, non-violent, safe public action. And we knocked it out of the park. We really did. I could not be prouder of what we've accomplished together. In affirmation, the Oro Valley No Kings organizing team, the one who came up with 8 miles, has told me that we raised the bar, that we made better plans, addressed issues in the moment, and our overall organizing of our intersection was inspiring. And they're going to ask us to do it again. Of course, all of this arose out of our collective congregational efforts, the support of our staff, many donations that all of you made, our teams of safety monitors, Oasis staff, medics, loading and unloading supplies, bringing music, and communication with our congregation, and even with the hundreds that registered online with No Kings. Thank you for getting trained. Thank you for making plans, for gathering supplies and then being willing to move them. Thank you for raising the roof in song and in spirit, and for reaching out to ensure that everyone was informed and knew what was going to happen yesterday. Thank you, all of you who showed up. Some of you for the first time to a protest ever. Thank you for participating in a historic step in our country, but even more, a historic step for our congregation. This took more than just a congregation. It took the individual efforts of leaders, people who among us stepped up when we were asked and said, yes, I will help MVUU achieve this. Conrad led our safety monitors. Summer and Jerry, our Oasis. Joel led our medics. Curtis moved all the supplies, and he was going to do it without any help, but he did it and we helped him. Dan organized and scheduled our music. Tom and Vince communicated with our congregation. And Jerry did an extra double duty from his home in Tumakakari, reaching out to all the folks who registered on the No Kings website. Thank you, each of you. Thank you, all of you. In this great time of challenge, when our government enforces brutality and suffering, you have led us beyond the despair of this moment toward a new horizon for our congregation, for our broader community, for our country. Thank you.
And once again, the only way I know how to respond to all of that is singing. Everything today comes out of our teal book, this lovely one, Singing the Journey, and of course that'll all be on the screen. This first one is number 1018, 1018. Come and go with me. Won't you rise in whatever way feels good to you? And let's sing.
Good morning. Everyone hear me okay? Wonderful, great. Hello, my name is Madeline Hart. What are we pointing at? Oh. Yeah? Great, yes? Rocking it, okay. Hello. Okay. Oh, but then I have to hear myself. Okay. Good morning. My name is Madeline Hart. I'm your congregational librarian and a deeply, deeply tired gender-fluid trans feminine woman. I'm not terribly comfortable with public speaking, but the endless institutional and interpersonal repression plaguing myself and my trans siblings calls me before you. So, for Trans Day of Visibility, ooh, that's not right, but that's okay. It would have been really cool. We got it, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I think so. I think that's how it works. Trans Day Visibility? Hey! Whew. Okay, cool. So for Trans Day of Visibility, I'm going to walk you through a very summarized history of the early queer liberation movement in the US. We'll focus on feminist and trans groups after we lay the foundation. Then we'll jump to the present day, talk about the terrain of anti-trans discrimination, and then talk about a group bringing old tactics to the modern day. History time. The Mattachine Society and Daughters of Bilitis, founded in 1950 and 55 respectively, were assimilationist queer advocacy groups. They operated assuming that if they did their best to blend into cis straight society, they would be granted equal rights eventually. At the time, not the worst idea, but you can guess how well that went. After a couple decades of criminalization, brutalization, and forced outing, it became increasingly clear that they needed a new strategy. So, the Gay Liberation Front formed in 1969 in the aftermath of the Stonewall riots. Everyone in the queer community was represented in the group: gay, lesbian, bisexual, and trans. They picketed newspapers for anti-queer coverage, denounced racism and sexism, and were ardently anti-capitalist. They were confrontational, militant, and they won loads of positive publicity and reforms for queer communities. In 1970, a contingent of the Gay Liberation Front participated in the Black Panthers' Revolutionary People's Constitutional Convention. The statement they wrote demanded freedom of queer expression, an end to conversion therapy, and a right to, quote, free physiological change and modification of sex upon demand. In 1970. They ended their statement, "No revolution without us, an army of lovers cannot lose." Several affinity groups spun out of the GLF over time. Radical Lesbians, one word, which is why I tripped over it, was formed to protest the exclusion of lesbians in the feminist movement, and they took over the stage at the Second Congress to Unite Women. In their 1970 manifesto, The Woman-Identified Woman, they wrote, "It should be understood that lesbianism, like male homosexuality, is a category of behavior possible only in a sexist society characterized by rigid sex roles and dominated by male supremacy." The action was controversial in the community, but representatives at the Congress were generally receptive, and they increasingly won more lesbian recognition over time. Closer to my heart is another affinity group, the Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries. STAR was founded by Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, two trans women of color, and they did incredible work for street queens and street queer people overall. They were founded after the Weinstein Hall occupation, in action by the Gay Liberation Front and some of their affiliate groups after NYU, owner of the building, canceled a dance, a GLF-hosted dance that had been planned there after they found out it was a homosexual event. They occupied the building for 6 days and only left because they were forced out at gunpoint. After the occupation, once STAR was made official, the pair planned a shelter for unhoused queer youth. Sylvia Rivera, in 1998, in an interview, said, "We fed people and clothed people. We kept the building going. We went out and hustled the streets. We paid the rent. We didn't want the kids out in the streets hustling. They would go and rip off food. There was always food in the house, and everyone had fun." Everyone in STAR did what they could to keep themselves and the general communities around them fed, clothed, housed, and cared for. They taught each other how to read. They taught each other self-defense. They were focused on mutual care. I don't want to romanticize the Star House and the lives of those who lived there. They lived far harder lives than I have. But their insistence on mutual care is a lesson most of us could stand to learn, but this congregation practiced very well yesterday. STAR is the most well-known group that did the care work required to keep the most precarious of us alive through the late 1900s, but they're far from the only one. These networks of mutual care have existed forever in the queer community, and they still do today. Speaking of today, let's jump from 1970 to the present. It's dangerous to be trans these days. 2025 was a rough year for us. All in all, 1,022 anti-trans bills were considered and 126 passed across the country. Last year was the 6th record-breaking year in a row. As of last night, across the country, 747 bills have been proposed and 23 have passed, and it's not even April yet. Eight states have complete bans on transgender people using bathrooms consistent with their gender identity, and 3 criminalize it. Idaho is set to be a 4th this summer. As of June 2021, about 30% of trans people live below the poverty line. For comparison, the overall population's rate is 11.6%. And earlier this month, the Lemkin Institute on the Prevention of Genocide issued a 3rd red flag warning about anti-trans genocide in the US earlier this month. So yes, it is dangerous to be trans. But transness is also dangerous to our opposition. This administration is spending a lot of time coming after trans people because we are absolutely coming for their way of life. Their way of compulsory heterosexuality, cis supremacy, and patriarchy are all at threat if trans people are allowed to live as themselves. None of us choose this fight when we transition, but we're thrust into it, and we're going to win it. I'll leave you now with the Humanifesto of the Gender Liberation Movement, a DC-based advocacy group focused on confrontational action and radical collective care. We believe in gender liberation, understanding that everybody deserves bodily autonomy, self-determination, the pursuit of fulfillment, and belonging within the collective. We believe in gender identity as a balm for societies in crisis, a world that warms unbearably, class divisions are widening, as power ignores traumatic histories to police our bodies, choices, and futures. We believe in gender liberation and center those who are trans, non-binary, intersex, and queer, while understanding that every body is harmed, including the cis and straight, anybody who inhabits femininity and womanhood, masculinity and manhood, and the lavender expanses in between. We believe in gender liberation as a connective thread between movements, from the fight for queer and trans power to intersectional feminist demands for reproductive justice, to the healing of our earth, building economies rooted in care, and the freedom to live unbound by borders. We believe in gender liberation as a generative source of joy, pleasure, connection, and wholeness. A force of expansive narratives, transformative communion, new modes of governing, of safeguarding the sacred. We believe in gender liberation as radical defiance to every system built on domination, as an answer to ancestral demands, power for the living, and the inheritance of those yet to come. We believe in gender liberation as ancient, inevitable, and alive, not for some of us, but for all of us. Join us.
I invite you now to a time of meditation. A moment to breathe, an instant to rest within the embrace of the holy. Our Jewish and Christian siblings on the cusp of holy days, Passover, a week-long Passion of Jesus, are returning to all of that in story and song and ceremony, and sometimes, I'll admit, I'm envious. They have thousands of years of ritual and theology, of music and celebration that offer them certainty of the holy. Envy passes quickly, though. When I hear one of us speak truth. Thank you, Madeline. When we engage in our values and love and transform our broader community as we did yesterday, in days like these, the Holy is present here among us. So breathe with me, if you will. In and out as your body allows. Open this space to the holy. Widen our circle for the sacred. However it comes to you, here and now. Breathe in all of our relationships, all that makes this moment possible, our deep love for this world, our trust in one another, our passion for justice, and our realizing, our accepting who we are. Breathe and rest in the holy. Breathe and rest in these words by my transgender colleague, the Reverend Andrea Hawkins Kemper. Blessed are we who gather with open hearts together in this space today. Blessed are we, the chalice lighters of resistance, of justice, hope, and faith. Blessed are we, heretics, outcasts, and walkers on our own way. Blessed are we, the border crossers, the refugees, the immigrants, the poor, the wanderers who are not lost. Blessed are we, the transgressors, the trespassers, the passers-by, the cause-takers, the defiant, and yes, even the compliant. Blessed are we, the hand extenders, the sign makers, the protesters, and the protectors. Blessed are we, the trans women, the trans men, the non-binary, the cisgender, the multigender, and the no gender. Blessed are we, the friend and the stranger, the lonely and the hidden, the visible and the authentic. Blessed are we who rise in solidarity. Blessed are we who cannot. Blessed are we who do not. Blessed are we, and this is our beloved community. And this is who we are. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my faith. My faith that our collective love united can drown out the evils of empire and hate and greed.
Together, we create a love energy more powerful than any force of oppression.
Because when two or more people are gathered side by side and arm in arm, shoulder to shoulder, the force of love ignites liberation.
Revolutionary love calls us to know ourselves deeply, see God in the stranger, find beauty in the imperfect.
Revolutionary love calls us to find the divine in dirt, the holy in the heartache, and the sacred in the scars.
Revolutionary love calls us out and then back in.
Revolutionary love calls us to be better and do better.
Revolutionary love calls us to heal and hold each other, because none of us would be here if it weren't for our faith in each other.
And we gather then, as a people of faith in each other, each holding unique beliefs, but all sharing our faith in each other.
We live into this paradox through our covenant, our promise that we will try again and again to seek the divine spark in each to work for the liberation of all. Each week we remember this with fire, water, earth, and air. The fire of our chalice reminds us of what we share and who we are called to be. The water before us holds the ebb and flow of our lives together. The stones of the earth, ready to receive what we carry, grief, fear, anger, confusion, but also hope, compassion, passion for justice, and wonder.
When the stones enter the water, they trouble its stillness. As our honest lives trouble and transform the life of this community, we are engaged and loved and transformed.
I have one joy to tell you about. While so many of you yesterday were marching for freedom, our Constitution, and democracy, John and I had the opportunity to volunteer at La Clinica Amistad, a totally free medical clinic in South Tucson that offers primary and preventive care to those with little or no access to medical care. It was such a joy to see people treated with respect, reverence, and kindness. And we add stones for all that remains unspoken, but deeply held in our hearts.
In a world marked by both tragedy and beauty, we gather so none of us must face it alone, and together we find healing and strength.
For there must be those who speak honestly of sorrow and wonder, and communities that gather in remembrance and compassion.
Our pastoral care committee is here to listen and to lead our congregation through engaging, loving, and transforming our lives together. These elements, this is Mountain Vista Unitarian Universalist Congregation. It's how we practice and how we live our faith in each other.
Let's sing. Number 1008, again in the Teal book, but also on our screens. Absolutely beautiful song from Joyce Poley, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. 1008, would you rise? We do rise when we sing. in whatever way makes the most sense for you.
Mountain Vista Unitarian Universalist congregation is breaking through. We're breaking through the despair, through the isolation, through the fear and the suffering that has a hold on the minds and hearts of so many people in this country. I know it holds me many days. It is the call of our faith tradition to break through lies, to confront cruelty, and to stop the inhumane brutality of this government. And I know that we are doing this because I witnessed it yesterday. Just as we have no single doctrine or creed, there is no single cause that motivated us to co-host the No King's Day event, except that we believe that what we do, when we engage in love, we believe that transforms the world. And so there, at the intersection of Oracle and Orange Grove, we opened a holy place for solidarity and for hope and for healing. Mountain Vista MVUU is thriving through. Around the world, and certainly here in America, there is a surge. It's anti-trans, it's anti-women, It's anti-immigrant, anti-black, anti-brown, anti-poor, anti-anyone who is different than white, affluent men, and it is growing. It's powered by a theology called Christian nationalism, and I put the quotes around it because it is not Christianity. I don't even bother to capitalize it. Christianity is based on the message and the ministry of Jesus. Jesus hung out with the oppressed, folks on the margins of his society. He taught that the blessed are the poor, and then healed the sick, and insisted that the most important, challenging, vital thing that we do with our lives was to love our enemies. See the difference? Christian nationalism instead is founded on scarcity. It's founded on scarcity, on lack, that there's not enough. It wants you to believe that the world is a battlefield for the resources to survive, that success is excess, that might makes right, and they are openly saying that empathy is weakness. See the difference? It is as small-minded as it is pervasive. And our faith, our Unitarian Universalist faith, it calls us to respond with abundance, to envision the world, to envision this world, our world as a beloved that cares for each and everyone in it. Our Unitarian Universalism calls us to a beautifully diverse, wonderfully inclusive, deeply equitable place, a holy place. And yesterday, just yesterday, we responded to this call, making it a reality, just as we strive to do with all of our ministries. Now, we're not talking about a perfect reality here, because there's no blessing in perfection. There's no blessing for the world in perfection. That's not our call. Instead, we seek good and a growing reality that thrives when we act from abundance. That's how we're breaking through. That's how we're thriving through. And it's leading us to rise through these times.
Hope Rises by Reverend Rebecca Ann Parker and Reverend John A. Burns. Hope rises. It rises from the heart of life, here and now, beating with joy and sorrow. Hope longs. It longs for good to be affirmed, for justice and love to prevail, for suffering to be alleviated, and for life to flourish in peace. Hope remembers. It remembers the dreams of those who have gone before and reaches for connection with them across the boundary of death. Hope acts. It acts to bless, to protest, and to repair.
Rebecca Solnit is a feminist for our times. You might know of her as the person credited with the word mansplaining. The term came to her after she attended a dinner party, and there a man that she didn't know proceeded to explain to her her most recent book. She writes, "Men explain things to me still, and no man has ever apologized for explaining wrongly things that I know that they don't." So she knows, first hand and full well, what our world is today, and she refuses to despair. She refuses to despair. With rising hope, she perceives a slow and steady revolution is occurring that cannot be stopped by any of the far-right extremists. In an interview just this last week, she said, quote, "What the far right is doing globally, I think, is largely backlash. A new world is being born. And they're basically trying to abort it," which is a little ironic given their views on abortion. There is a new world being born. It's a vision full and ripe with abundance. And it's based on the reality of the past. The Christian theologian Walter Brueggemann once stated, "Memory produces hope in the same way that amnesia produces despair." To which Solnit responds, "This is an extraordinary statement, one that reminds us that though hope is about the future, ground for hope lies in the records and the recollections of the past." We can tell of a past that has nothing but defeats and cruelties and injustices, or of a past that has some lovely golden age now irretrievably lost. Or we can tell a more complicated and accurate story, one that has room for the best and the worst, for atrocities and liberations, for grief and jubilation. I saw it yesterday. Did you? We arrived at the intersection of Oracle and Orange Grove, at the intersection of atrocity and liberation, at the intersection of grief and jubilation, but also at the intersection of the past and the future. Our congregation was there as a blessing. Oh, we were overprepared. Oh, we were overprepared. And we were fully ready for the unknown. And the junior member of our medic team said he was bored. Wonderful. And we showed up, and we opened a holy place. Amazing. We were there protesting because we sang. I heard you, and I sang along with you. We are gentle, angry people singing for our lives. And we sang because that's how we address injustice, with compassion. And we were there repairing and healing. We were reknitting a community that thinks it's separated and isolated back together. We were healing the despair of isolation. And with love as our guide, we reached into the suffering that we all feel, that is in all of our hearts. And together we began to heal that as well. Blessing, protesting, healing. We are rising through. Rebecca Solnit writes, "To hope is to give yourself to the future, and that commitment to the future is what makes the present inhabitable." We live here, right now, in the holy present, not forgetting the past, but definitely not seeking to return to it. Instead, we perceive on the horizon an abundant world about to be born. We are breaking through. We are thriving through. We are rising through, and as we do, we hasten its arrival. We will get there together, with love as our guide. May it be so in all that we do this day and in the days to come.
So much wonderful stuff to think about. What a beautiful day yesterday. Rise. Take a second. Bend. Breathe. Such beautiful words. Let's all take a big breath together. And one more. Commit a conspiracy. And let's sing together. Beautiful song. long-term tradition in UU places. Number 1020 in the teal, wo ya ya. And if you get lost with the words, it's perfectly fine to sing la la la, wo ya ya. You know what's in your heart. Just sing.
So this is an experiment. Bear with me. I have decided to completely abandon every single word I wrote to end this service. So if this kind of falls apart in the middle, just take what you like, okay? I'll be the first to say that when we chose the theme, feminism and rising through feminism, I wanted to cheer. Mostly because, 50 or 60 years ago, a lot of us were marching then. And it's been hard. It's been really hard to watch things fall apart. And so as I listened to Madeline this morning, I thank you because you've reminded me that all of us are fighting to keep things from falling apart. And from what I can tell about this congregation, I don't know if you can swear in church. Well, you're doing it pretty damn well. Yeah, you are. Pretty damn well. Sorry, I was raised Catholic. You don't do that at Catholic. But of course I'm not, so it's okay. So thank you to Madeline. Thank you for speaking truth. I see repeatedly, when I look around this room, the value that we place in diversity and equity and inclusion, and understanding not just those words and their meaning, but living it. And it does, I must admit, astound me that so much of the rest of the world cannot see that, because here we are. Here we are. And every place I go, I have the same thought. Here we are. What is it that people can't see? That all of us are trying hard to live in love and to make the world a better place. And so I'm amazed that we are where we are sometimes politically, but then again, let's move past that. I had a couple of things that had occurred to me as we went through the service, and one was the words that Gandhi said so long ago: be the change you wish to see in the world. And so what I know in hearing about yesterday is that you are being the change that you want to see in the world. And I think many of you are practicing that every single day. And then I heard words in our songs today that I thought, gotta say that again. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. And in this congregation, it's evident every time we see each other. And another one, we are gentle, angry people singing for our lives. So as hope rises and we continue to love, engage, and transform the world around us, it's my hope, my sincere, active hope, that every person in our world, regardless of gender, color, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, religion, can thrive, can break through, can rise through, can be the change, and can lead with love and hope. So the future's happening, and MVUU is a part of shaping it. We want you to know about all the opportunities that are up and coming our congregation offers to engage and love and transform for us. Flower Communion, next Sunday is Easter, and it is our developing tradition to practice our Flower Communion ceremony. And there are opportunities up to engage, love, and transform out in the broader community, Tucson. Singing Resistance in Tucson, which I think was singing loudly yesterday. Thank you for that. Singing Resistance Tucson is an outpouring of song for love, hope, peace, and justice. Learning from Singing Resistance Minneapolis, this group shares inspiring music for protests, marches, and public actions of all kinds. They rehearse Sundays at 4 at the UU Church of Tucson and 22nd Street. All are welcome. And if you want to know more, Melody, Sherry, or Jennifer are here with details.
Just to add to the flower communion, please bring a flower to share in the communion in our service of story and song, remembering our faith's history, the renewal of life, and the abundance of the earth. And Madeline, you wanted to make a library. Don't look at me surprised. You wanted to make a library announcement.
That doesn't sound like me at all. I don't know what you mean. Hello. Quick note about the library. One, it's back there in the corner. It's great. There's a lot of books, good stuff there. And then today, because I knew what I was going to say, I have some resources related to the history of the queer liberation movement. So if you're interested, I have a whole bunch of primary sources with me today. You're welcome to come check them out. Thank you.
To release the flame, I'll be reading Hope Continues by Kevin Jago. When the candle dims, the wax almost spent, the light turns amber like a sunset. Still, it provides light. Still, it provides heat. Still, it can kindle new flame and pass its glow on and contribute to new illumination. When sunsets turn to new days, when seasons transform all, when the candle dims, all is not lost. Hope continues, uncertain and true, like candlelight, ready to spark again.
I invite you all to rise as you're willing and able and take the hand of those around you. And I want to invite you to repeat after me. In love, we rise. In love, we rise.
In love we rise.
In love, we rise.
In love we rise.
Go in peace and
In love.
in love we rise.
In love we rise. Resilience. We are strong. Shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience. Make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience. We are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keeping on. Resilience. Can we have the next slide, please? Stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience. We are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience. Make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience. We are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience. Make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience. We are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience. Make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience.